Konko Talk. Aloha everyone. Thank you very much for listening to this program. Konko Talk is a program where people in the Konko faith talk about various topics. The thoughts and opinions we share on this program may differ from yours, but we hope that you will enjoy and learn something new. Perhaps we will learn something new that may affect our thoughts, behaviors, and action for the better. Our different backgrounds, religions, thoughts, and culture provide the diversity that strengthens our community, just like biodiversity is essential for a healthy planet Earth. I am Koichi Konko from the Konko Mission of Honolulu. Joining me are Amy and Edna. How are you doing today?
Hello.
Hello, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to us. We haven't paused for a long time, probably last September-ish or October. Yeah, I think so, September. So sorry about that. But today's topic is the practicing faith, Shinjin no Keiko or Shugyo. So let's get started. I checked the Kyoten, in English, Kyoten, and I found 662 practice faith, the word practice faith. It's about 700 pages, 662, I think kind of a lot, practicing faith or practicing faith. In Japanese, Shinjin no Keiko, intentionally it's Keiko. We don't use Renshu. Renshu and Keiko are kind of similar. Renshu is like a training. Keiko, like practice, I'm not sure what's the difference. Keiko is more like Kendo or Judo, Kado, Sado. Something like you learn the skill at the same time you're supposed to develop your mentality. That's my understanding. Your training is just you need to improve your skill. Keiko, it's not the purpose to get stronger or get the skill, but you need to grow up, not only physically but mentally, like a true seeker. So first question is why we practice faith.
Hello. Well, practicing faith, I think doesn't have to only apply to practicing the religion. In any kind of profession, I think it's essential to continue to practice it, continue that professionalism, continue in education, CE we call it, continuing education. So even for us nurses, every 2 years we have to get a certain amount of CE credits, we call it, continuing education credits. We have to go online, we have to attend seminars or conferences to rack up points, not points, but CE credit. And we need that to renew our professional license. So I think in that way, every profession and even people who practice faith need some kind of practice in their daily life to maintain that level of professionalism, I think.
Simply just you want to be happier, you want to receive more blessings, or want to receive virtue for future, or because for Kami-sama, fulfill Kami-sama's wish, or to be better person, somebody else, your families, close friends, that kind of question came up.
Yeah. Well, I want to share this one episode that happened at work actually. And there was a doctor who was very mean. Putting it simply, he was very almost like a bully. People, the nurses were really afraid to call him regarding patient care, regarding if they had any kind of question regarding the patient and they want a little bit more information. We called a doctor, and certain doctors are they're so easygoing, very easy to talk to. But this one particular doctor was extremely hard to talk to, and every time you call, you feel like he's gonna yell at you, or you feel very intimidated by this person. And he's known for that. And he's been doing that for pretty much his whole career. And a lot of people, they left the floor because they don't want to interact with this doctor. And it was becoming very difficult. So one day when I had a question about a particular patient, just because I wanted to clarify an order that he wanted, because he told a ward clerk in order to tell me. So he didn't directly tell me, he told a ward clerk to tell me. So there was some miscommunication versus what he wrote in his notes versus what the ward clerk told me. So I just wanted that clarification. And when I called him, he was so upset that I did not know the correct order. So he even told me, like, what school did you go to? Like, you've been working here for so many years, you should know by now. And he was just venting, like, so, oh my gosh, it was scary. And I was very offended. So that's when, wow, it was really intimidating and demeaning what he was saying to me. So I told him straight up on the phone. I said, you know what, we have to act more professional. And I am asking you these questions for the safety of the patient. So I do not appreciate you talking to me in that manner. And no one ever told him that. So he was very shocked. His tone of voice suddenly changed and he was so apologetic and we got everything clarified, but I had to write him up. And because I wrote him up, the higher uppers had to actually talk with him. And the next time we saw him, he changed. He actually changed. He started smiling, was way nicer to the nurses. This happened like 3 years ago, actually. And just last year, he actually approached me and he said, I remember that time we had that talk. And he apologized to me for the first time in like 2 years. And he said, I'm so sorry that I didn't realize I was like that. I didn't realize he didn't realize he was intimidating people. He didn't realize he was hurting a lot of people. But because I told it to his face, he woke up, and that made him realize that he needs to change. And he told me that this was a life-changing thing for him. So he was truly thankful. It's amazing how much change we see in him. He's way more approachable, helpful, and no longer intimidating. So, as professionals, we need to continue to act professional, I think. So I'm really glad that he took it in that manner instead of like retaliate. He could have easily retaliated, but I'm really thankful that he took it that way and he was appreciative of the incident. Yes.
I see he changed. Before that, he accepted and he changed. That's the outcome when we practice something. We should change. We accept the something and we can change.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Ohtani Shohei, the ball player Ohtani Shohei's episode that he picked the rubbish because he believed he can accumulate virtue through that action for his career, for his life too. That's kind of Keiko for him, just not like a baseball practice.
I had a question for Edna actually. So in the situation with the doctor, how do you think practicing faith helped you in that situation, dealing with that situation?
Well, I think it helped me remain more calm instead of like lash out to him completely. And I gave him 3 chances actually. He's done that before. The first time I was really shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he talked to me like that. And then I just brushed it off. Second time he did it, I was like, oh my goodness, what kind of person is he? He's really like this. And I was like, oh my goodness. And not only me, there were other nurses too that were very afraid of him. So, and then third time's a charm. I was like, you know what? This has to change. His behavior has to change. Otherwise, it's very harmful, not only to the staff, but to patient care and the patients. I told it to him straight. And I'm the type that I was like a bunny. I would never talk back or say anything. I just kept it all in. But that time, I believe Kami-sama gave me the courage to speak out and just tell him like it is, and gave me the courage to also report him, and because things had to change. It was getting very toxic. I also prayed to Kami-sama too. I was like, oh, Kami-sama, I hope I'm doing the right thing. But yeah, Kami-sama, please give me the strength to settle all this.
I learned Keiko about the Keiko in Kempo in Meiji era. Kempo is the sword technique. There's many styles, and there's a word shuriha, maybe kendo too. Maybe I'm not sure, karate or any kind of a martial arts. Really, Japan use it like a do after the kendo or karate do. It's a shuriha. Shu is following what you learn from that style. and ha is break. So that means you learn more different kind of styles, and ri is like walk away or abandon. So you walk away from what you learn, the style, and create something new, like innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you don't disrespect what you learn, but because sometimes what you learn stuck you,
Mm-hmm.
you say shibarareru. So you have a dento, what you learn. Because of what you learn, you cannot create something new. So tradition is important, but you have to get over the tradition. You have to walk away. And so that's important for Keiko. You first follow what you learn, and then you break it. You learn something new from other styles, and finally you walk away so that you can create new style for you. So basically, you Keiko, so you gain skill. You used to be very difficult, or you couldn't, but now you can do easily or naturally, and then you have to create something innovative. So you have to walk away from what you learn. That's I think interesting method that once you learn, you want to follow, but sometimes hard to break or walk away to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Also important to know about is the seiko and joju, the success versus like a fulfillment. Success means like you want to win the game, you want to get the award or respect. So you train yourself, you got better skills, and you win the game, and so people start to respect you. Maybe that's the success. But fulfillment is more like mental things. It doesn't need to be like you win the game or reach a certain place, but you feel fulfillment. For Keiko, it's more like to fulfillment, to get the fulfillment rather than success. So apply to the practice phase. We don't know actually the goal, or we know maybe the certain blessings.
Does that tie into why we don't call it Keiko versus Denshu?
Mm-hmm.
So Keiko, I feel like Keiko kind of sounds more like a way of life. You're not just practicing a certain skill to be more skilled in that one area. It becomes influential in the rest of your life, in the way you live your life.
Mm-hmm.
So Shinjin Keiko is in practicing faith, it leaches into all parts of your life. And I think that's where it's interesting for me. So going back to Edna's story with the doctor and the conflict, she used her faith practice to be able to interact with a difficult person and trust that he would receive it in a good way. It's kind of interesting that she brought that topic up, because I am experiencing kind of the same thing at work right now with a toxic coworker. And I just had this conversation with my good friend Susan. We both work together, and we've both been on the receiving end of this toxic coworker and their behavior. And it's interesting because I feel like I have to have a lot of faith in order to endure what is going on at work. And I don't know, I guess my question to you two ministers is how I should be used to deal with conflict, whether it be at work or whether with, just people in general. I think that's kind of a neat topic to talk about, maybe, that people would want to kind of hear about and tie into the faith.
Mm-hmm. Wow, thank you for sharing that. I didn't know you were going through a similar conflict there. Wow. Yeah, it's really difficult. Like in the beginning, when I was a rookie, there was more of this, and I believe it's because I was immature, inexperienced, again, still a rookie. So there are a lot of frustrated people around me because I just didn't get it, and it's a lot to remember. So many tasks that we have to do, and it was very stressful. A very, very stressful few years, actually. Actually, several years of my rookiehood were pretty stressful. And it's only recently that I began to speak up. Yeah, just say what I feel. I've never been able to do that. I always kept it in. And I always said, oh, don't worry, tomorrow's gonna be a better day. But then the same conflict kind of thing would happen. And I did a lot of otoroke back then when I had these kind of conflicts. I'll go to a Toitsugi mediation desk, and it's my dad sitting there because he's a sensei, right, from Wahia Church. But I would tell, sometimes it's my mom sitting there, but I'll tell what happened, and I just spill it all out. I don't censor anything. I just tell it like it is, and if I have to, I would swear, and that would make me feel better because I'm just letting it all out. All the spiritual dust, all the spiritual crap, you call it, and it feels like Kami-sama just accepts everything like a spiritual toilet bowl, and I feel very, very good after. Light. And when that spiritual dust piles up again, I come back to Otoroke. I like, oh, this happened at work, that happened at work, and yeah, that's how I continue to renew my faith, practice faith, by doing otoroke. Otoroke is a very vital element in Konko Kyo, and I think a lot of people could benefit from doing Toitsugi mediation with the sensei.
Great reminder. Yeah, that's a great reminder. That's something I haven't been doing. I don't think I've done otoroke about this toxic coworker. Koichi sensei would know. I have not done otoroke, but I don't know. This kind of feels like otoroke right now. Yeah, I think just in the sense of this, for the sake of this podcast, I think there's a lot of situations where people will have to deal with conflict, whether it be big or small, in all kind of aspects of their lives. And that's a great reminder that Edna Sensei said about doing otoroke, being able to just kind of dump all of the stress onto Kami-sama. I think that would go a long way to alleviate a lot of anguish and stress that people feel in these situations. I think I relied a lot on just kind of praying by myself through the toxic situation. Every time I had to kind of brace myself to face this person, or inevitably I have to talk to her on certain occasions or work with her on certain occasions, I kind of said a little prayer in my head, asking Kami-sama to kind of protect me in the situation so that I could, it sounds weird, but survive the interaction. I guess that's kind of how I use my faith practice in this kind of situation. I don't know if you have any other suggestions, Koichi Sensei, about how to deal with something like that.
It's a very difficult situation, but I like to say, to practice faith means not to only solve problems, like a fulfillment that we mentioned that, because when training or renshu, we need to reach the goal, we need to success, we have to solve the problems. But if keiko is important, maybe keiko itself is important. So think about this is keiko, practicing faith, shinjin no keiko, this situation itself. So you pray, but hard to change, how to solve the problems, and you're reminded that toritsugi is important, and you pray, but maybe it's not good enough, and they'll go to toritsugi mediation, and that's how the process, is the practice faith. And also maybe the person not gonna change, stay same, but maybe you are much stronger or tougher, so that the situation nothing changed, a person is nothing changed, instead of change him or her, but we can change. So problem is not problem anymore. Sometimes that could be happen result of practicing faith. So that's I think the interesting point. I guess we can be curious. We practice faith, and practicing faith itself is very meaningful, and we can be curious. We live up to Kami-sama, and we can looking for the future, because we continue to practice faith, and we can be changed. The situation can be changed. We don't know, but that's why we can be curious. So is daily life maybe important? Practicing faith, like everyday life, daily prayer, or attitude. So again, the Edna Sensei, the incident with the doctor, that she naturally accepts the situation first, and she was able to stay calm, and that's why she was able to speak up professionally, and he was able to accept it. If she spoke up with very emotionally, maybe different situation, but probably she was able to stay calm, so she was able to speak back politely. That's why he was able to accept it or realize his behavior, was able to think about his behavior. So that's the whole thing, is could be the practice and phase for Edna sensei.
Yeah, I remember when that when that incident happened, I could feel my adrenaline just pumping, and I'll be like my it feels like my heart will like boiled blood. It'd be like, I feel like a volcano was about to explode, but I was like, I gotta control myself. This is a professional setting. I must never lose it. So I say, Konko-sama, please, please, please. So whenever I have that kind of situation, like, oh crap, I feel like I'm gonna lose it, I say Konko-sama. And by just reciting Konko-sama, it really helps to calm me down. It's amazing. You can try that also in times you feel like you're powerless. I felt pretty powerless, but very upset. I just said Konko-sama, and it made me feel very calm.
So I mentioned why we practice faith, and because me or because somebody else or friends, but practicing faith means a lot, because practicing faith actually save us, make us stronger, but also in Edna's situation, the doctor was saved too, and other nurses, people working with them are saved. Yeah, so naturally, I guess the practicing faith, the result, I'll be saved, my family be saved, people around me saved. So very important why we practice faith, why we are practicing Konko faith, why we are a follower, a believer, or minister of Konko Kyo, why I'm leaving Hawaii, why Kami-sama sent me to Hawaii, or Kami-sama sent Hawaii to me, why Kami-sama sent me to this location, this job, or why Kami-sama sent this job to me. That's, I think, whole concept could be to try to understand its practicing faith. I remember the first Konko-sama's episode, I believe, calligraphy. He was famous for the calligraphy. He practiced calligraphy every day. He decided 1,000 days he continuously write the practice calligraphy. If you stop one day, go back to the first day, you need to practice calligraphy 1,000 days consecutively.
Going back to what Amy was asking me earlier, how faith enabled me to stay calm, and I was really thinking about it, and I can say that through faith we can realize that maybe there's something behind that behavior. Like, he's not just being mean because he's a mean person. Maybe he has stress at home. Maybe he's having some personal health stress. I have no idea what's going on in his personal life. But everybody is different. Everybody has different situations. So maybe there is some underlying factor that is making him behave in a certain way. And we can kind of look at that through faith, so we can have a little bit of compassion instead of just holding a grudge.
Mm-hmm.
And we can pray to Kami-sama that, hey, maybe he's struggling somehow. And I pray. I also prayed for him. Even if he's a doctor that everyone did not like and I was scared of him, I prayed for him. Because everybody's a Ujiko, a precious Kami-sama's child. And Kami-sama wants everybody to be saved. So I also prayed for him. And in that way, I think Kami-sama saved him as well as me and everybody else.
So you believe in Kami-sama and believe in practicing faith. The first Konko-sama said the calligraphy, I guess he liked, so he continued to practice calligraphy. But also, he mentioned that he wanted to break his fude many times because mad at or the anger. Probably he want to be like that much better, but outcome is not like that great he expected, even though he continued practice. But he mentioned that after that point, he passed beyond that point, he was able to enjoy more. making calligraphy, writing the letters in shuji. So practicing faith sometimes very hard, but we believe Kami-sama and believe practicing faith. I guess we can practicing faith with joy. We know there will be a blessings, but it's not the purpose maybe, but we kind of know we are able to receive blessing, certain blessing for this mother. The third Konko-sama, the famous quote, はじめのうちはつろうてよう泣きましたがな。親様の教えを守らせてもろうて、泣く泣く辛抱しに座っとりましたら、欲しいものも考えることもいつの間にかなくなりましてな。ありがとうてならぬようになり、なんぼお礼申しても足りませんのじゃ。お礼の足りませんお詫びばかりしておりますが、もったいないことであります。You can translate? Is it like he took over the second Konko-sama position as a Konko-sama, the third Konko-sama, he was like only 13 years old? So it must be hard. Stay in the worship hall, okekkai, and adults come to him and, have a serious problem. Yeah, they have a serious problem, so they need like guide or something. The word or ask him to pray. He didn't know anything first, I guess, but he followed the teaching, founder and the second Konko-sama, his father's teaching, and just try to be patient and be there as a Konko-sama, sitting in okekkai, listen to people, pray. And he cried. While crying, he's sitting, be patient, but naturally no like stress, I guess. And more like feel grateful. So cannot say enough thank you to Kami-sama, so that he have to apologize to Kami-sama that he wasn't able to say thank you enough to Kami-sama. So every day he's so grateful. So you continue to practice faith. That kind of level so hard sometimes, like so stuck, so dark. But just keep walking and then you can reach the other side of the tunnel. Didn't like that feel when practice faith. As long as you continue to walking, you can reach the other side. I have a teaching here. Let me read. A woman who lived near Konko-sama heard that unlimited divine blessing could be received by practicing faith. Taking a large empty bag, she went to the Hiromai in the early morning and sat. Konko-sama asked, "What are you doing on this early morning?" She answered, "I've come wanting to receive divine blessing, so I brought this bag. Now I'm waiting." Konko-sama, while laughing, said, "A bag can hold the divine blessings. There's a heart full of divine blessing. Go home and practice faith, then you will receive divine blessings." That's an interesting teaching. Could be funny, but very meaningful to me. First of all, I think this teaching telling us we practice faith, receive blessing. Not like a bag, but house full of divine blessings. And go home and practice faith, so we can practice this at home on daily life. And because she came to worship hall and talked to Konko-sama, she was able to realize something. So I guess she was able to receive blessings.
I was always told that if we don't empty our vessel, then it's hard to receive okage. So if our vessel to receive okage is full of negativity, then there's no other space to add okage. So we have to come to otodoke, or if you live far away from a church, call or email or text the sensei to rid yourself of that negativity and just vent, so Kami-sama could accept all your spiritual dust, and then make your vessel empty. Then your heart will be, accepting of all the okage that is there out there actually.
So you just come and wait with the big bag, you can receive blessing. You have an empty bag, not bag, but empty vessel, and you do practice faith, you receive a lot of blessings.
Yeah, because in our whole entire day, we can, if our vessel is empty from the beginning of the day, we can put in coins of negativity or positivity, and at the end of the day, your vessel will be full of what? More positive things, or negative coins. And depending on that, your life, you would want your life full of positivity or okage blessings. But if it's hard for you to do that, and your mind is always more leaning towards negativity, then bring that to church, bring that to the sensei, and have it transformed into positive coins for you to fill up in your vessel. Then it's more easier to receive okage. And the sensei will help you identify what okage is, things to be grateful for. Really, the minister really teaches us where our focus should be. And I think that's really important. The minister is really the life coach. That's how it has been for me in my case.
Also, sometimes it takes time to receive divine blessing. This, like share the teaching of a founder. Practicing faith right now doesn't mean that you receive divine blessing right now. Take a dry bonito fish, for example. It's delicious, but you cannot savor it as soon as you cut it. You can savor it only after it is boiled for a long time. Practicing faith the same. You will become aware of blessed things after practicing faith for 10 years. 10 years is kind of a long time. I like to have an immediate blessing sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. 10 years. 10 years. 10 years is asking a lot of someone. But I think a lot, going back to the filling the vessel, I kind of agree with that. I can also see it as you practice faith, or as you do otoloke, or as you practice faith, the vessel becomes bigger. You get
oh yeah, that's true. Yes.
The capacity of the vessel increases, and the ability for that vessel to accept not only positive, but also the negative, which I think is equally as important.
That's true too. Ikoto you very good.
I think that was something, it may have been Oya Sensei that I've had that discussion with. I think he didn't call it a vessel. He said having the kokoro, the ability to tsutsumu everything that comes towards you, to embrace whatever situation, whoever, whatever may come at you. I think that's a large part of what practicing faith enables you to do.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, even one of our church members was able to identify that. Like, even at that time, the situation may seem bad, negative, or terrible almost. You can look back at it years later and, believe that, that was meant to be, If that didn't happen, then I wouldn't have this blessing today.
Right.
Ari mo kage datta, kore mo kage datta. So that was a blessing, this was a blessing, and even negative situations can be turned into divine blessings.
Right.
That's why keiko is important. Practicing faith is very important. Any kind of experience could be important. Not only the incident, but people. Do not disrespect others. Doing so will not bring divine blessings. So we should respect others, and we will receive divine blessings. But sometimes very difficult, like a toxic situation. Someone bully to us, bully to me, or hurts family members. It's very difficult. But still, if think about it's part of a practicing faith sent by Kami-sama for me, for us, maybe we can handle that. We can continue to practice faith instead of like depressed or no energy. We can move forward. So daily life is important with Kami-sama, because that kind of routine help us to stay calm, stay connect with Kami-sama. Not just like the sports player do the certain routine, like Ichiro did a kind of long routine before going to hitting box, face of the pitcher. Even the same food, I guess, some people eat before the game. Kami-sama told founder, it goes, Kane no Kami-sama said, train your discipline during the autumn. Rise early in the morning, change into formal clothes, then come to the Hiromai. After you pray, your wife is to bring breakfast to the Hiromai. Have your meal, then promptly change into work clothes and go to work in the fields barefoot. When he was just a farmer before become like Torichigi mediator, he received this from Kami-sama. This kind of conjunction that the daily life a little bit different, more like because practicing faith early in the morning, wake up early morning, change the formal clothes and go to Hiroma and pray, and you eat breakfast there, and you go back to normal, like change the clothes, work clothes, and go to work, but in barefoot. That's interesting to me, that daily life, but also some on top of that, more like spiritual training practice phase.
Nanika.
So I was thinking about that question that you posed earlier about why we practice faith. If I think about, I don't really have an answer why I practice faith. I think for me, I don't want to say forced, but kind of. When you're born into the church, I felt an obligation to
Mm-hmm.
be in the church. I still feel an obligation to be in the church. That's not to say that I don't see the benefits. We were given a choice, I think. I may have been in intermediate school or high school, and my parents mentioned, I think I asked, or it might have even been in elementary school. I think I asked if it was okay for me to go to a friend's church, and she happened to be Christian, and she invited me to go to church with her family. And I nervously asked my dad, can I go with them to church? And he said, sure, which kind of shocked me. And he said, go ahead. You can go and explore other religions if you want to. That's perfectly fine. But never forget that you were born into a Konko church. So it's kind of like freedom, but not. You have that sense of obligation that I still have to this day. That yeah. So I've never felt like I had to be in the church, and I was only allowed to practice this faith. But if I think about why I'm still a Konko Kyo member, I don't have a complete answer for that. I think it's partly, it's definitely, I still feel obligation, but I think more so maybe I can see that the Konko faith is helping me to be a better person. At this point in my life, I think it's already just an innate part of my life. I don't think I really consciously practice faith per se. I'm not getting up in the morning, and we're not told to pray a certain amount of, or recite a certain amount of sutras or something like that. It's not like that. I've never kind of felt that the Konko faith was like that. It's just kind of part of everyday life, but it's kind of sneaky in that way. I don't, but but then at the same time, I don't feel I'm at the level that I should be a minister, or so I could never do what the two of you do. Yet I find myself doing this kind of goyo, or the malamalama, or what have you, because of part obligation and partly because I would like to do my part in kind of giving back to the religion that has helped mold who I am today. Yeah, so it was just kind of that's why I kind of stayed quiet, because I didn't have an answer about why I practice faith. That's a very profound question for me, a complicated question.
Well, thank you for sharing, Amy. Yeah, made me see how I practice faith. Well, my mom, she is so pious. She said that ever since we were born, she would take all three of us now, since we're babies, into the Ohiramai, the worship hall, every morning at like 5:30 a.m. for the Gokinen. And she would even wrap us in the blankets and line us up on the tatami mats. We had tatami mats back then in the Hiramai. And while we were sleeping, she would attend the early morning prayer with Yano Sensei. And so that's how she tried to incorporate us into the practice of her faith. And before we even were conscious of that practice of our faith. So it's been a tradition for us, our whole family. As soon as we wake up, go to the altar, go to the church and say, thank you for this brand new day. And please allow this day to be a good day for everyone. And when we go to school and come back to the altar and say thank you. We made it back safely. And anywhere we go, even to the store, even to to Foodland, which is only a few minutes away, she says, "Kanarazu, you have to do gokinen, pray before you go and after you come back." So it's been like ingrained into our DNA already. So it seems like perfectly natural. It doesn't feel like no obligation. It is just how we grew up. So that was our normal, and it still is our normal, even till today, where I wake up in the morning, I say thank you. Well, actually, I made my own practice faith where I'm still in my bed, and as soon as I open my eyes that morning, I put my hands together and I say thank you, Konko Daijin, for this brand new day that can't get any newer than this. I thank my heart for beating 100,000 times a day, keeping me alive, and I just pat down my whole body from head to toe, and I say thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's, go about this day, today's brand new day, together. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And at the end of the day, of course, I go to the altar, I say thank you, I pray for a good day tomorrow, and in my bed again, I do a whole body pat down and I say thank you, thank you, thank you. You work really hard for me today, and I appreciate everything you do for me. And I put my hand on my chest and I say thank you for beating 100,000 times a day today, keeping me alive. And tomorrow I look forward to another brand new day with you. that's how I practice faith. And before I go to work, I recite the Japanese haishishu, the Japanese prayers. I like to that we used to always recite the Japanese prayers here in Wahio, but I don't live in Wahio anymore. So I continue to recite the Japanese prayers. And before, I used to take like the prayer book with me to work. I mean, while driving, my husband would drive and I would like recite it in my car. But then I think maybe I should just wake up just a little bit earlier so I can recite the prayers at home instead. So that evolved into that. And just recently, only like a couple years ago, I started to go to there's a temple in the hospital where I work. And I go there every morning before starting work, and I pray that all the staff can, be blessed to work, do goyo for Kami-sama, and that all the patients that come in the hospital, that are in the hospital, receive your healing and your blessings. And I do that every time I go to work. So that's kind of how I practice faith. And if there's any kind of problem, anything to be happy about too, we rush to the altar and we pray to Kami-sama. Like if a friend is going through like an emergency and we get like a call or a text, I rush to the altar and I pray for them. And I always text them back and say, you know what? If you receive blessings, please text me back. And they do. And then I go back to the altar and I say thank you, because we have to complete the circle. We pray for a good day and we had a good day. So Kami-sama wants that report back. So it's like, oh, so how was your day? And I come back to the altar, the starting point of my prayer, and I say, thank you. It was indeed a good day. And it's important for all kinds of prayers. We have to complete the circle, not do negai panashi. Negai panashi means to just throw the prayer at Kami-sama, expect the wish or the prayer to come true, and not follow up. Kami-sama really, I think, wants the follow-up. And if we could extend our appreciation, then even better.
Ooh, ouch. I always forget that follow-up.
Try not to forget to say thank you after your prayer fulfilled. That could be the part of a practicing faith.
Yeah, I even told it to a coworker. He's not even Konko, but he says, he went to Japan recently and he went to this shrine all the way up in this mountains, like really far away. And he said he prayed that he could be able to live in Japan one day, find a good job. And he I don't know why he reported that to me, but I thought that was pretty funny. And I told him, I said, you know what? It's really amazing that you were able to do that. Go to that mountain, go to that shrine and pray. But you know what? When you get what you want or get what you wanted, you have to go back all the way to that mountain, all the way to that shrine and give thanks. And he was like, oh. I said, you have to complete the circle. Otherwise, it's going to be rude to Kami-sama, who granted you such a tremendous blessing, right? And he's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
We may think we're fortunate, just like if you were born in a very rich family, maybe you like it. You think, oh, we were so rich, we can buy whatever we want. We have a good food. We don't need to worry about everyday life. we think fortunate. We were born in the family who have faith, Konko faith, or church family. We receive extra prayer, I guess, since we were born. Or even your parents are not Konko Kyo minister, but the believer, definitely you receive extra prayer from them. So that's fortunate. And unknowingly, just like Edna Sensei mentioned, that before you notice, when you were too young, a baby, you received your parents, including you, imparted their practicing faith. So unknowingly, we join in practicing faith with them. So I believe we receive extra toku virtue, just like a fulfillment of a practicing faith, I could say. So we have a advantage, I could say, from get start. If you are very new, you the first one, you practice faith. Probably your parents have faith, so you receive extra prayer, special prayer too. How much we say thank you that we are receiving extra prayer, extra care from your parent or kami-sama. We should think like lucky or fortunate blessings. Any last words?
Well, I just think that if you practice faith consistently, you will definitely begin to see the results. Maybe not immediately, but over time. It's like braces. I always say practicing faith is like braces, where your teeth are not gonna get crooked. Like your crooked teeth will not get straight overnight. It takes months, maybe years, but then it's gonna slowly straighten out, and your faith will slowly begin to straighten out. Your problems will slowly begin to iron out, and you can look back and see for yourself that, hey, I am definitely receiving more blessings right now than I was 5 or 10 years ago. And you can see a gradual improvement of your life, and things will start to really iron out for you and go well overall. Of course, there's going to be like not so good days, but overall, your days are going to improve a lot more.
And to continue with that braces analogy, you also have to make sure you're keeping the retainer on afterwards. Translate. So
yes, exactly. Right? Yes.
You have to kind of keep it up and stay with that practice.
Yes, so it's going to get crooked again.
Faith. Yes, or you'll go crooked, you'll go off track again. Yes.
Yeah. Very good, very good.
Thank you. Yeah, we cover a lot today. I enjoy myself very much, but it's time to end. I hope you enjoyed today's Konko Talk too. Thank you very much for joining us to today's topic. We truly appreciate your time and support, and we hope you enjoy our conversation as well as much as we did. Remember to subscribe to our podcast, YouTube, so you never miss an episode, and please share it with your friends and family. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for future episodes, feel free to reach out to us via email konkotalk@gmail.com. Until next time, take care and stay curious. This is Koichi Konko Talk. Thank you very much for joining me, Amy and Edna. Thank you. また会いましょう。
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.